Okay, I literally had to get out of bed because I just read something that I think is going to change, I hope is going to change a lot of Western perception of Islam, because hold on. Okay, it was on the top shelf. Chapter 3, 52 through 55. Okay. When Jesus sensed disbelief from his people, he asked, "Who will stand up with me for Allah?" The disciples replied, "We will stand up for Allah. We believe in Allah, so bear witness that we have submitted." They prayed to Allah, "O Lord, we believe in your revelations and follow the messenger, so count us among those who bear witness." And the disbelievers made a plan against Jesus. But Allah also planned, and Allah is the best of planners. Remember, when Allah said, "O Jesus, I will take you and raise you up to myself. I will deliver you from those who disbelieve and elevate your followers above the disbelievers until the day of judgment. Then to me you all will return, and I will settle all your disputes." Islam believes in the second coming of Christ. Islam believes in the second coming of Christ. That's like, what? And just in case anyone's concerned that I'm misinterpreting it, according to Dr. Khattab's footnote, I'm not going to say the word because I am not good at other languages, but Mutawafifika means literally, "I will make you reach the end of your worldly term." The popular Muslim belief is that a conspiracy was made to kill Jesus. Allah made the main culprit who betrayed Jesus look exactly like Jesus while the culprit was crucified. Similar to Christians, Muslims believe the second coming of Christ. I don't know how to react. I don't know how to react to this information. What? It's nothing like we've been told. Nothing like we've been told.
Bismillah, let's get into it. Let's see what you're so curious about. 193. You men are not allowed to take back anything you gave to your wives unless both sides fear breaking the rules by Allah. All right, so 191 through 193. So I guess you're curious about probably 191, right? That's what most people try to tell us women, that if we come to Islam, we're going to be oppressed, right? That's what you're getting at? Bless your heart. Let's talk about it. Here's the tafsir for verse 190. Remember that women have rights just as men do in all fairness, though men have been given an edge over them. Tafsir. The edge that this verse refers to is the fact that men are obligated to care for women and thus have more responsibility. This translates into a few seemingly inequitable things at first, such as men who receive twice inheritance of a woman. However, this seeming advantage actually rebounds back upon them, for men are responsible to spend of their money on their family, while women are not obligated to do so. Further, men must pay a dowry to their brides and also support their elderly parents and all other disadvantaged relatives. When Allah specifies that men have obligations, responsibilities, edges over women, it's not referencing our rights to humanity, to fairness, to life, to meaning that we are equal in all aspects of equality. It's talking about equity. In Islam, my husband would receive significant more inheritance than, let's say, if he had a sister. Why? Because my husband is responsible to take the money that he receives and give it to his family and make sure that he is providing for his family. He is obligated to Allah for that. Whatever money that the woman receives, that is her money. She does with it what she wants. She does not have to do anything for a man or anyone else. So yeah, men have been given an edge. That edge is responsibility. It's additional obligations. It's to be uplifting and upholding women. That's what that edge is. So no, you cannot twist my religion. You cannot twist the words of Al-Quran to make me fear my religion or feel less about who I am within my religion.
Okay, I just want to read some of my notes that I wrote down from An-Nisa, the 4th surah in the Quran. So this is for the first section, which is mostly property inheritance laws, and these are my notes that I've written. So Allah commands Muslims to honor the rights of women and orphans. They must manage the wealth of orphans responsibly and not steal from them, for their wealth must be returned when the time is appropriate. When married, women should be given their due rights, or dowry. Islam, unlike previous religions, puts limits on the number of wives one may take. 4. However, if you are unable to provide or maintain justice among them, it is unlawful and you must only take one wife. The rules of inheritance are covered in detail, and while the division may appear unequal by modern standards, it is worth remembering that the men were expected to provide for the women. Islam entitled women to inheritance, property in their own name, and dowry paid directly to them and not to their fathers. This was an enormous progress for women of the time, and women in the West would not enjoy some of these same rights for approximately 1,000 years. Islam is basically raising women up on a pedestal. So a lot of people come into my comments and they try and use verses, particularly from this surah, to dissuade me from reading and convince me that I shouldn't be learning about Islam, how awful Islam is to women, and you can beat your wife and you can do all of these things. And I think it's worth noting that, well, yes, there is a part in this surah that does mention disciplining your wife. That was also the norm up until the early 1900s in the West. So I don't think that is necessarily a religious thing, but more a cultural thing. And it's not a cultural thing specific to Muslim countries. Western countries also employed this practice until realistically not that long ago. So when reading the Quran, I think it's important to understand what things are specifically related to the religion, what things are cultural, what things are just a product of the time. A lot of people come in and talk about how Islam permits slavery and all of that kind of stuff. Well, slavery was permitted before Islam. In fact, slavery was in existence up until, again, modern history. But Islam constantly talks about freeing slaves. You know, it's a good deed if you free slaves. So while slavery may have been part of life and the economy of the time, I think Islam really does try to encourage its followers not to participate in that, and it's a good deed to release a slave, to be a kind person. So I just wanted to share.
The Quran is telling men to spend money on women. Yalla Habibi, come to Islam. It says here in Al-Nisa, number 34, men are protectors of women because God has made some of them excel others and because they spend their wealth on them. Yalla Habibi, come to Islam. It's so nice over here. And give the women their dowries willingly. But if they of their own accord remit any part of it to you, you may make use of it. You have to pay women their dowry. Pay women, give them their money. This is so incredible. I have never heard of a religion that upholds women to such an amazing level and encouraging the men to protect them, to provide for them, to take care. Oh my.
يا باسط اليدين بالعطايا، يا ذا الفضل العظيم، يا ذا الجود والكرم، يا حنان يا منان، يا رب يا رحمن، يا مستعان يا كريم، يا ذا الجلال والإكرام، أنت ربنا الأكرم ذو الجلال والإكرام. أعطنا من خير ما أعطيت نبينا سيدنا محمد عطاء أن تحبه وترضاه، عطاء ما له من نفاد، عطاء أنت له أهله، إنك أنت أهل التقوى وأهل المغفرة. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك، قولك الحق ولك الملك، إنما أمرك إذا أردت شيئا أن تقول له كن فيكون. سبحانك بيدك ملكوت كل شيء، يداك مبسوطتان تنفق كيف تشاء، تختص برحمتك من تشاء، وأنت ذو الفضل العظيم. اللهم يا جامع الناس اليوم لا ريب فيه، اجمعنا بنبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم كما جمعت بين الروح والجسد.